I am not joking when I tell you, the phrase ride fast and take chances has a very, very clear origin. Hey guys, welcome to another amazing episode of Moto Stories with Unkie Phil. Now, this is a special one for me because one of my favorite people in the world is here with me today. This is John Meckelfresh. We've got a topic for you that is near and dear to both of our hearts. What are we going to talk about tonight, John?
We're going to talk about vintage days. MidOhio happens every year, middle of July.
Oh, man. And this is put on by the American Motorcyclists Association. And so when you think AMA, you think old men maybe, golf carts. You don't think about, well, one of the absolute best parties that I've been to in my life in the motorcycle community. Don't think about that.
You said earlier, you don't just go there to get drunk and fall down. I'm like, yes, you do. Of course you do. That's what I've been going
for the entire time that we've been going, over 18 years, right? Yeah. It's just, we have to remind people that there is actually a real reason it exists. It's because the American Motorcyclists Association endorses and supports motorcycle sport, racing, and not just racing one style. There's GP style racing, road racing. There's trials.
You have trials, you have the vintage motocross, hare scrambles, all the various road racing. I'm trying to think of anything, plus all the side shows. You've got like the Wall of Death. You've got dealer rides, demo rides. You've got any number of things. Plus the whole thing is just a cacophony of motorcycles riding around at all times. I like to tell people it's the Woodstock of motorcycles.
It's Burning Man for our people. And it is crazy. And they also do off-site, they'll do flat track racing. So there's things happening and this all takes place at the MidOhio sports car course. So this is a large piece of property, thousands of acres.
With lavish amenities. I mean, the best toilets, best.
It really is. So, if you play your cards right, you've been there for once or twice, you can figure out where the good showers are, you can figure out where the good bathrooms are.
You can find the porta potty that's up to here and shit.
Nope, bad news. That is overfull by like day 2.
That poor guy that lost his Harley bandana. He was
never
desperate.
Getting that back. And one of the things that I like to tell people who've never been there before, keep in mind that all weekend long, the motorcycles never stop running on the track.
No.
So from 7 o'clock in the morning, it's the sound of 2 strokes.
In fact, you're not allowed, there's a general rule that you're not allowed to start your bike before 7 a.m.
That's right.
Now, people will be like, 7 a.m., that's kind of loud. Look, there are people who are standing there waiting to get on their bike at 7 a.m. to fire up their little 2-stroke pit bike or whatever they're riding and ride over to the showers and try to get in line at the cattle dip and get a shower before anybody else.
And because the place is massive, it's huge. That it is the kind of thing that only heroes and virgins do it the first time on foot. So you don't dare do that on foot twice. They have a very lucrative golf cart rental deal going on. And we've never done that because we believe in the power of ancient, tiny motorcycles. And when you see guys our size riding a little 70cc bike, the first day, Thursday, Friday, when you arrive at AMA, you're going to be like, oh, that's ridiculous. By Saturday night, you're buying one of those. You're like, I need to get one of those. That's the secret weapon. If you want to get in line for hot dogs, people are sitting on their mini bikes in line for hot dogs.
No problem showing up on a Thursday or a Friday, buying some little piece of bullshit, ride it for a few days, sell it on Sunday, and make some money in the meantime.
Now, back to the event, because we do want to give AMA their due. We have had such good support from the staff at AMA. And Serena Van Dyke there has done a beautiful job of working with enthusiasts and these, people that want to go to events to make it better for you. We've done podcasts there. We've done training seminars there. I've done training seminars now there for like 3 or 4 years. And they give you something to do. So if you're not sitting out in the sun, sweating, watching a race, You could be in a air-conditioned tent learning about fuel or carburetors or stuff.
I mean, we make much ado about the party environment,
Yeah.
and it's always a great time for us, and that's a part of it for us. But there's no other place like it, at least that I've ever seen in the world, where you can walk around and see just amazing bikes, like bikes that you only have seen in a magazine. You know, you want to see a Vincent Black Shadow, there's going to be more than one.
There'll be more than one.
There's going to be something for everybody, and it's just the most amazing spectacle of a motorcycle that I've ever been to.
So now we've talked about the racing, we've talked about the actual competition, and it's where guys can get out and, where a guy is riding a 30-year-old motorcycle with skills he developed 30 years ago.
30, I mean, it could
40,
be
50, 100.
Yeah, I mean, really old bikes.
And to see
dinosaurs.
Yeah, to see guys tearing up a racetrack on an ancient antique motorcycle is great. They have sidecars. The dirt is hilarious. They now have embraced us idiots, and they now give us pit bike racing, which is the barrel racing and the pit bike racing.
That's the best one of all, is the barrel racing. That's,
It's because of the chaos, I think, right? It's because of the whole, there's a barrel, there's another barrel. There's completely ungroomed terrain between them.
It's real simple.
Go clockwise. And you go clockwise, and you're literally out there. Now, you had some heated competition a couple of years back.
Yeah.
You were riding
a KLR 650.
Okay. Full military.
Yeah, full military, U.S. Marine Corps, KLR 650.
Everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty good. I was pitted against a 5-year-old?
I think she was 6.
Okay, on a Pee Wee 50 maybe.
She cleaned your clock.
That I could not keep up with. Now, granted, I just dipped my toe in, did a few laps and everything. Obviously, this child had been there the entire weekend.
I think she lives for that.
Just round and round and round. And I mean, I literally was, the KLR, it's geared high. But first gear, pinned. I was trying should I shift to second or not? Right. I'm like, man, I'm like a KLR in first gear wound out is going 40, 50 mile an hour. I was not catching that kid.
No, she got it.
Not catching
and
that
it's
kid.
Bizarre. So we've brought many of our friends there, our friends from the Misfits podcast, our friends from the Cafe Racer podcast. We brought them all out to AMA Vintage Days. We've hosted them because we can't ever explain to people how crazy this event is, how amazing it is.
And nobody that's ever been there has ever said, all right, I'm ready to go home.
No,
it's like, oh my God.
They're dragging us out of there.
I'll be there next year.
And when you first get there, the first thing you see as you're rolling in is literally the world's largest vintage motorcycle swap meet. Now that's a hell of a statement. When you put the world's largest in front of anything, that takes balls. And this place is no bones about it.
Oh.
You can't walk it in 4 hours. There's just no way.
But the people who really want to find stuff, they walk it. And and this place is a beautiful symmetry of motorcycles and pedestrians melded into one.
How we don't kill each other, I don't
it's
know.
People walking and motorcycles weaving in between them.
It's like you're in New Delhi.
But the people who really know that, the people who really want to find that part that they're looking for, they walk it. You can ride it and you'll find great stuff and you'll see it.
Yeah.
But walking it is where you really find those beautiful little nuggets or that one little thing that you've been looking for.
And what's crazy is there are dudes who bring out a 24-foot long landscaping trailer, open top, right? And everything on the trailer is $5. Everything. Like whatever's on the trailer is $5.
Now it's definitely evolved a little bit with the advent of eBay and Marketplace. Back in the day when we used to do this, it was a tarp.
Yeah.
And people would show up from all over the country and they would just put out a tarp, and this tarp might have side panels.
Right.
And it would be any kind of side panel
400 side panels.
400 side panels.
Yeah.
You could find, if you needed a side panel, you'd find it there. It'd probably be about $20.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of gone away a little bit, and we're starting to see that, people are obviously in tune to eBay, and
absolutely,
I could put it on eBay and get twice that much.
Sure.
So why, but it's still really cool because it's still a place where some people come out just to be like, I'm just going to load up all my stuff in my garage and I'm just going to dump it out there and see what I can get rid of.
And that's the experience. That's what we want to clue people in on. Now, then it gets later.
As the lights are going down in the California town.
It's so weird because the currency there is like a beer. You walk into somebody's tent, you walk into somebody's 10 by 10, the currency is 10 by 10s and beers.
Well, it might not. The beautiful thing is, I got the guys from Michigan, the Nichols brothers. He was just on Facebook telling me, hey, we just made a new batch of cherry wine. And like everybody's got their own little tilt, you know. So,
That's right.
I mean, a beer's good, but a bottle of, breaking open a bottle of cherry wine or making somebody a fantastic rum drink or something like that's always better.
It's so funny. There's a community element to it that is just amazing that I do liken to Burning Man. I've gone to Burning Man a few times, and there's this thing about like, here we are all worshipers of the same screwed up thing. And we do. Now, to tell you how, fun it gets after dark, we have a friend named Larry. And Larry is a legend. Larry taught me how to negotiate. I will never tell anybody the Larry Newberry method of negotiating. It's something I hold near and dear. But Larry is like, he looks like Sean Connery if Sean Connery were from Tennessee and just a little bit shrunk down.
Yeah.
And he's just so perfect. Like his personality is just 11 feet tall. He's smart. He's got the best, and he's driven, he's a truck driver his whole life.
I was going to say, you could tell he's got a lot of miles on his clock. He's been around. He's seen a lot of different angles.
And vintage motorcycles.
He's figured a lot about what life is about. He's figured it out.
Just one of the best people you'd ever want to be with. And just the nicest, but boy, does he like to have a good time. And we get together and start having a good time. And then the good time starts to get a little more good. And Larry's riding around in racing leathers from 1969 or something. They're black racing leathers with red stripes down the side, smuggling plums like nothing has ever fit anybody tighter. And yet he's got this silver beard and the whole deal. And Larry's just, well, Phil, I don't think you understand. What we got to do is we got to wait till about 9 o'clock when it gets good and dark, and these people are going to get desperate, and then we're going to go in and get those bikes. We were making deals at midnight with a flashlight, buying bikes out from under people.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't have to stop.
It never stops. So Larry'd had a little too much encouragement the one night, and we lost track of Larry. But he was riding around on a child's quad, a 70cc child's quad, with a Carter Racing go-kart engine in it that was louder than, loud. And you start it for 7 seconds and all the sheriffs show up. And Larry would just start the thing for 20 or 30 seconds and just rip away from our site and go find somewhere else to have a drink.
Go run into somebody. It doesn't take, walk 20, go down here 3 sites away and there's a campfire, there's somebody stumble into their site.
Absolutely.
Say, hey, my name's John, I'm from Cleveland.
You see a light glowing, just wander in and you're gonna make friends. Well, so Larry had decided to sally forth and go out and have an adventure. And of course he left there at the greatest of speed.
I'm pretty sure he made sure he bumped into somebody who had some women with him.
Well, again, he's a charismatic individual. I said Sean Connery. I didn't say it lightly. Now here's the thing. Larry rips away, and pretty soon the sheriffs show up. Pretty soon security's there in force. And this was pretty ugly. And I got to say, it's a good thing we're quick on our feet, even after a few cocktails. Because we said, oh my God, you just described my Uncle Larry. He's a diabetic and he hasn't gotten his medication. It was so hot today, 90 degrees in the bold sunshine.
Do we have his insulin?
Did you see him? Because if you see him, get him back here. Now look, I don't know if you ever dealt with a diabetic. They kind of appear like they're drunk, but they're not. He just has been out in the sun all day and he hasn't gotten his insulin, and we're worried for him. So if you see him, could you please get him back to us?
Poor Uncle Larry.
And we'll go out and help you look if you want. Oh no, you guys stay right there. And that, I heard at one point Larry went through a barbed wire fence. And we eventually found Larry.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, we eventually found Larry the next day. And he did say that he ran into some sheriffs that were very nice to him.
He looked like he'd been through something.
So that's the kind of thing that we can tell you for AMA Vintage Days at MidOhio. It is just the best. And if you ever see a big wide board,
do you remember the year that guy was riding around on like a clapped out XS 650, and we were having the bonfire,
we had a
and
giant
everything,
bonfire,
and the kid was jumping the bike over the bonfire, and this one guy was riding one-handed with a beer in his hand, and just in whatever gear the bike happened to be in, and just riding around, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this guy's
going to die!
Oh my God, this guy's going to die!" But after like 20 laps of this guy just riding around with one hand with the bike pinned, just going anywhere he wanted to, like just
unkillable,
the bike would takeable.
With a beer.
We're like, no, he's not going to die.
He's never going to die.
He's just not going to die.
Sleepy, who's standing behind a camera over there, Sleepy on one of his first MidOhios was riding around.
Was it like 8 times?
Oh, he can't defend himself. He's off camera. So Sleepy had a close encounter with a kid on a mini bike.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I've heard varying stories about this, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
You have to go to MidOhio because that's where you see this madness of you got a guy on a 750 H2 going this way across an aisle at 35 miles an hour. You got a 7-year-old going this way across the aisle at 20 miles an hour. And you got Sleepy trying to thread the needle on a scooter.
With some guy in a black Shadow thinking it's great to just ride around.
Dude.
And a guy on a Goldwing trying to make it through the mud buried up to his knees.
I am not joking when I tell you. The phrase ride fast and take chances has a very, very clear origin. I will take you back to when we got that. Will Stoner, our friend Will Stoner, who's a big, big part of our community. We learned that from Will Stoner, and Will Stoner's a legend for us.
No doubt.
And Ride Fast and Take Chances came from that, and it came from what we do at MidOhio. All right, so on that, guys, we do. The biggest thing is we wanted you guys to comment, because this has been going better than we thought, honestly. This whole Moto Stories thing is just, we couldn't be happier. And we do want you to comment. So if you've enjoyed this video, do your part now. We did some heavy lifting, you do some heavy lifting. Like it, give us some comments, man. Subscribe. We want to see more of this.
This Mai Tai brought to you by Phil Waters.
Mai Tais, right? Exactly.
Trader Vic's.
Please,
Mai Tai Mix.
Please remember.
One of our sponsors.
It's Moto Stories with Unkie Phil at gmail.com if you want to shoot us an email. Please give us a comment because we're reading all the comments and you guys are on fire. Like the comments you're giving us are amazing.
I think hands down too on the at least on the podcast.
Yeah.
We love the comments and the feedback.
It has been great.
We love the negative feedback the best. So feel free. I mean, that's what really motivates us.
It does motivate us a lot. So yeah, if you want to make fun of my Tiki Cat shirt or whatever, that's good. It's a great time to do it. But if
this is my skinny angle.
Yeah. If you catch us in some bow shit, you just call it out. So ride fast and take chances, guys. Thanks.
Another 3 sections. If you got 3 sections, you can get really good with one intermediate section. So you got like 2-foot riser underneath. Pretend like it's hot wheels track. You're gonna have a good time. All right. Then take all the vibrators and go and buy yourself or Amazon a 1-gallon pump bottle of lube. Brand not important. I prefer the generic version of Astroglide. You get that, and now you have all the different colors. And now you people put the money in the pot based on the color. So you got 12 little buckets, or 10 little buckets, or 8 little buckets, depending on how many friends you have. Sometimes it might just be 1 little bucket, because you're alone and you need friends. Now, everybody puts $1 in the bucket. And then, whoever wins, we divide money out among the representative buyers. It's so much fun. And then you have a little wall with a whiteboard, you do like whole thing. It is portable. It is hilarious, it's slightly adult, and it makes everyone touch vibrators.
So it's a vibrator racing circuit.
Vibrator downhill Pinecwood Derby racing challenge. It's going to cost you about $70 all in. People will talk about it for ages, and they'll tell their friends like I'm telling you.